Oops, sorry about that. I'm Tommy Jones. I was born May 20th, 1964. I'm a citizen of the United States. I've been essentially in transit. I've been stalked and harassed by various organizations. I was told that it would go into planning as of 1995 when they received one of my scans from Silver Cross Hospital. I would sign a release by a guy by the name of Bub Moore to have someone from what they claimed was an expert in the area of workers' comp review injuries that I sustained to my neck and spine. I would later find out that I have people from the Lutheran Church and the Uniting Churches running around with my scans, more than one of them. So most of what goes on is trying to injure your brain, damage your corpus callosum, damage your cerebellum on either side, damage your motor hemispheres if you're left-handed on the right side so that you use your left hand. Frequently, people that are targeted for this type of torture or harassment wind up paralyzed on the left side. Like I said, it is most of what they call the Uniting Churches. It's the Methodist Church, the AME Church, the Pentecostal Church, the Lutheran Church. So we have other issues with these churches, one of which they engage in numerology and targeting people with the number 5, 23 especially, females with the number 14 for harassment, and try to drive them out of society and ruin them financially. They'll use, quote, the term, they're trying to cut off their ends. Participating in that, in my case, will be the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and the Rotary, along with the Elks, the Rosicrucian Order, an organization called SARA, members of the AFL-CIO, including the Fraternal Order of Police, the DBA as Joes, Orange, which is Methodist Men, and D, which is Methodist Men. So it would use the biblical references in Isaiah chapter 53. And there's another biblical reference relating to the pruning of branches, hence the tree before me, which is the damaging of the circulatory system and nervous system, and an abuse of scripture, just like the abuse of phrenology and the other pseudosciences and junk information they would utilize, making them arbitrary and capricious. This is not a term that I would make of myself. They would file a petition against me, and a judge ruled that their reasons for this petition were arbitrary and capricious, and that you cannot petition away another human being's civil and human rights, and that what they were doing constituted cruel and degrading treatment. So, I would be in a big pot of a mess that cannot readily be resolved, because they would tell several lies to several organizations throughout the United States to create the problems they created for me. Now, their church calls it binding and a mock stoning. They do not like fives. They do not like left-handed people. The Hindus do not like nines that aren't white. So you would think that there's some celebration or protection going on, and there'd be kind words and this person would be having their head hit and be sustaining multiple concussions. So then you would talk about a thing that the government and the conspiracy and utilizing it do to torture people, when most of it is cutting cauterizations and knowing where to hit people from slavery days in the head to cause certain damage and to cause changes in their appearance, to make them look more ape-like. So, other than those organizations, the Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Brotherhood would be involved in this. And the Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Now, when a person gets targeted like this, they have a lot of terminology. I don't know if Lawson, who I'm on the list in this book, came up with this term or not. It's an individual that they would call a high-profile target. Usually high-profile targets are numerology targets. Now, everybody would know this person. Everybody doesn't necessarily know the person. Everybody knows how they're supposed to behave around the person. This is done as a tactic called putting a person's head up. Now, putting a person's head out, using a mean of media to expose them to the public and pass them around to the various organizations that make up gang stalking. In my case, it was a bogus anti-drunk driving video supposedly created for the church youth. I was told its vehicle was created by Mike Reyes, and I was told that by his stepfather. The Waukegan police participated in this video after a threat to make sure I never drove a truck again, in retaliation for the death of a witness who I guess he was called Chewy on the street. I had no involvement in that incident. I'd be falsely accused of things, and the people that had actually done them and involved them total 20 people, 26 people in total. The Lutherans called this using an individual as a toilet. I'm going to stop right there because I'm losing my battery. That'll be the first part of my narrative in regards to this stalking and harassment I've been subjected